So, welcome to our Saturday morning Bhagavad Gita class for children. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Vishnuvadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so welcome once again. So we are discussing third chapter of Bhagavad Gita now. And the title of the third chapter is Karma Yoga. So in this chapter, it starts with Arjuna's question, as we were discussing last time. Arjuna is asking the question to Krishna that if you think intelligence is higher than karma, why you want to engage me in this karma of fighting in the war, right? Why you want to engage me in this ghastly warfare activities? So we discussed that how people take spirituality in different understanding, in different sense. For some people, spirituality means just do karma. Kaam hi puja hai. We have to just do our karma and that's all. We don't need to do anything else. Koi aur puja paat nahi karne ki zarurat. We don't need to do any other religious spiritual activity. Just our work is worship. This another same way, the another misconception is some people think spirituality means a retirement program. That when we become old, when we retire from our work, from our job, from our business and all, when we have done everything for our family life, fulfilled all the responsibilities, then we take to spiritual life. So both of these understandings are wrong. So renunciation simply does not mean running away from home also. So the third category of people is who think running away from home or running away from their responsibility and just becoming a sadhu. That we are too much troubled because of our responsibilities. There's so much hard work, so much responsibilities, and we just give up everything and become a sadhu. So that is also a wrong mentality, wrong understanding. So renunciation does not mean giving up one's work, one's occupation, one's responsibility. Renunciation means not the renunciation of work, but the renunciation of the result of work. Giving up the result of our activities, not being attached to our activities. So that was the prominent verse which we discussed in second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Karmanyavadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbhur matya sangho astava karmani. That you have the right to perform your duty, but don't consider yourself entitled to the result. And don't think the result came because of you. And don't become attached to not doing your duty. Right? So we discussed that in detail. So now further, Krishna explains in the fourth verse of third chapter. So everybody has this Bhagavad Gita, right? Bhagavad Gita Yatharup, Bhagavad Gita as it is, by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So in the beginning of these classes, I mentioned that we will be following this book. So in the third chapter, text number 4. Okay, so I'm reading the translation. Not by merely abstaining from work can one achieve freedom from reaction, nor by renunciation alone can one attain perfection. So Krishna is further explaining that by just simply giving up one's work, one cannot become a renounced person, or by just becoming externally a renunciant, by wearing the clothes of a renounced person. If somebody just puts on the saffron clothes, it doesn't mean that one has become a sadhu, a renounced person. So this is how Krishna is explaining, because in the previous verses when Krishna said, don't become attached to this thing, right? One need to continue doing one's duty. And this is how Krishna is explaining that point to Arjuna, that why just giving up one's work or just putting on the dress of a renunciant is not enough. So if Arjuna asks, what do you mean by if somebody gives up one's responsibility, he doesn't become a renounced person? So in response to that, Krishna further tells in the next verse that everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities what he has acquired based on the modes of material nature. So Krishna already introduced this word triguna, right? Prakritije gune. That this material nature has three modes: the mode of passion, mode of ignorance, mode of goodness. So the first one, topmost, is mode of goodness, sattva guna. Then mode of passion, rajoguna, and mode of ignorance, tamoguna. So these are the three modes, and Krishna will explain later in much more detail about what these three modes are. But everybody is forced to act based on these three modes. So to give you a brief understanding, right? Everybody acts based on these three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Goodness means somebody is satisfied with what he has. He is more closer to nature. He likes to eat more natural things, fruits, vegetables, all that. So that is mode of goodness. Mode of passion means somebody is very passionate about certain thing, for attaining something, with filled with a lot of desires, hankerings, right? I want this now, right now. So that is like passion. I want to be the topper. I want to be the winner of this game. I don't want to lose this thing. So that is kind of mode of passion. And then mode of ignorance means not even understanding our responsibility, our duty, being careless, being completely messed up. Like sometimes the rooms are very dirty, messed up, everything is scattered here and there. So that is ignorance. That is, the person is influenced with mode of ignorance. So everybody is forced to act based on these three modes. So by just giving up one's karma, one's duty, it doesn't mean one is become renounced. Because even if a person takes a renunciation order, right, if he becomes a renounced person, he still have to act to maintain himself. Either he will be going begging for food, or he will be trying to find something else. So he will be still doing some work, even doing the agnihotras, doing lighting the lamp. That is in one sense a work. So nobody can avoid work. It is just we change our work from one type of work to another type of work. So that's what Krishna is saying. That don't think by just abstaining from work, one becomes nashkarmanya, that one is become freed from the reaction of one's work. Now, if Arjuna asks Krishna, what do you mean about your second statement? That even if somebody becomes renounced, renunciation alone cannot attain perfection still. right? By just becoming a renounced person also, one cannot attain perfection. So what does that mean? So Krishna explained further in 6th verse. One who restrains the senses of the action, but whose mind dwells on sense object, certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender. Now, some of you may not know what this word pretender means, right? You may have heard the word hypocrite. Hypocrite or pretender means we do something else and we think something else. We want something else, but externally we show something else. So example is, Govinda, sit quietly. So the example is, being hypocrite is that to our parents, we may show them that, oh, I am attending Bhagavad Gita class. But while sitting in the Bhagavad Gita class, your whole attention is playing. You are playing with your toys, you are doing some different crazy stuff, putting something in your nose and mouth and making different faces. So you are just, your whole attention is focused on playing, but to your parents, you are pretending as if you are attending Bhagavad Gita class. So that is hypocrisy. So just to give you one example. Means to show something else outside, but being something different internally. So here Krishna is telling that somebody may wear the dress of a renounced person. But if his whole mind, his whole desires, consciousness is absorbed in enjoyment, then that person is a hypocrite because he does not do the duty of a renounced person. So how this hypocrisy applies to different people at different level. For children, how does hypocrisy may apply? Being a pretender, right? At what different levels we may act as a pretender? Any examples somebody will like to share? Nobody knows the example of being a pretender. So sometime when you are playing with your friends, do we pretend sometime of being something and internally we want, desire something else? Yes, Kiana. You can unmute yourself.
Pretender means like someone who's pretending something.
Yeah, somebody who's pretending something. It's not just
Somebody's like pretending.
game of pretending to be something.
Yeah.
While playing also you pretend, oh, I am a king. But that is a play. That
Yeah.
is a,
And sometimes people do something from the outside. They look like they are doing something, but from the inside they're thinking about something else.
yes.
Like they're studying, and then from the outside you look like you are actually studying, but from the inside you're thinking of something else.
Yeah, very good. So that is a perfect example of being a pretender, right? Yes, Samriddhi.
So like sometimes people pretend that they study. I mean, well, some people pretend that they're studying, but they're actually like thinking of something else instead of studying.
So
Like
I will tell you another example. So let's say you are keeping your book like that in front of you, right? So if your parent come, to them it looks like you are studying. You are opening your book and you are reading. But inside the book, you have your cell phone or something else as a video game here, and you're playing on that actually.
Yeah.
Right? So that is a hypocrisy. That is pretending. Externally you show something, but your whole mind is absorbed in something else. It is like cheating others, right?
Yeah.
Trying to cheat others. So that is hypocrisy, pretending.
Like that.
Okay, so any other example, Swastika?
Like sometimes, when people say that they're going to be your friend or they act like they're friends with you, but sometimes when they do something, then it comes out that they're not being your friend. They're actually trying to trick you so that they can get some benefit out of it.
Yeah, very good. So that is another perfect example for kids, right? We try to trick our friends to get some benefit out of them. So hypocrisy or being a pretender means to accept the prestige or privilege of a position without accepting the services, without accepting the responsibility and the sacrifice which need to be done for that service, for that position. For example, if somebody becomes a big leader, right? But he doesn't want to take the responsibility of his position. So he is just cheating. He is just enjoying his position. He's taking all the benefits of his position, but he does not want to do the responsibilities which comes with that position. So that is a pretender, a hypocrite. So whenever there is an intention to cheat and not the intention to do the benefit for others. So at different level, people can be a hypocrite. For example, if somebody gives up everything, he gives up his home, family life, studies, everything, and becomes a renounced person. And then after becoming a renounced person, so everybody has seen some sadhu, right? Everybody has seen some sadhus. So if somebody become a sadhu, and after becoming a sadhu, he just expect that everybody should come touch my feet, bow down in front of me, give me respect, give me regard, give me some charity. So if he expect everybody to behave in that way, but he himself does not do the duty of a renounced person, which is to give knowledge, right? Which is to give knowledge and to really give up the desires to enjoy. So then that person is a hypocrite. He has just taken up the external dress, but he does not have any internal change. So with the external change, there should be internal change also. Means if we put on the dress of a devotee, so we put tila, kanthi mala, and dhoti, kurta, everything. So we put on the dress of a devotee. External change has come, but internally there is no change. Our mind is filled with so much of desires to enjoy and so many expectation from others. Then it is a hypocrisy. So, you know, what is the best scenario to not be a hypocrite? That we are external change also is there. Along with external change, there is internal change also. Right? So externally somebody has become renounced person and internally also he is renounced. He has given up all desires. Let's say in our movement, in the organization, there are so many sannyasis who gave up their family life, gave up their careers and everything, and completely become renounced to spread this message of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and all the Vedic scriptures to bring people closer to God. So they have external change also, but along with external change, there is internal change also, completely giving up the desires for personal enjoyment and working only for Krishna, working only for benefit of people. So that is external change as well as internal change. Another scenario is there is external change, but internal change is slowly happening. Person is very sincere at least to bring in the internal change also. Right? So if we have become devotee So we are putting on the dress of a devotee, but internally still some desires are there, but we are sincere. We are sincerely trying to give up all those bad habits, bad things, all these desires for enjoyment and all that. So at least one is sincerely attempting for the internal change. So that is also good scenario. Now next scenario is there is external change, but there is no internal change. Somebody has externally put on the dress of a devotee, but internally all those bad habits are still there. All those desires, hankering, lamentation are still there. The change is not coming, or very, very slow. So person is been practicing for 10 years. He is every day chanting Hare Krishna. He is every day reading Bhagavad Gita, he or she. But the internal change is not there because of maybe some of the offenses one may be doing, or one is not sincerely attempting. And even below than that, the worst case is that there is external change, but one continues to practice all the bad things in the garb of the external change. So somebody, let's say, become a devotee, and after becoming a devotee, his only purpose of putting on the dress of a devotee is so that other devotees will consider him, oh, he is also a nice devotee, and he can cheat them. Right? So he just puts on the external dress for the purpose of committing some wrong activities, sinful activities, for cheating other devotees. Because devotees generally, they will trust him, they will have faith in him that, oh, this fellow is also a nice devotee, he's putting such a nice dhoti kurta and kanthimala and tilak and all. So they will consider him devotee and trust him. But his purpose is only to cheat them. So that is a very bad scenario. That is a complete hypocrisy. So external change, but internally he is completely different person. So it not depends on our external dress itself. It does not depend on that. It depends on our thoughts. So somebody gets some bad thoughts, and if somebody start to meditate on those thoughts, starts to enjoy those thoughts, oh yeah, I really wanted to enjoy like this. See, so for example, you are studying, and while studying you start to get the thoughts of playing on some video game or playing with your friends outside or something, and as soon as this thought came, you completely forgot about study and completely started meditating on these thoughts to enjoy, to play. So that is a wrong scenario. So it's not just sitting on a table chair for study, it actually spending time in study. Not that you sat there for 1 hour in your room and parents are thinking, oh wow, my son or my daughter, they are so sincere, so dedicated for their studies. They are studying for last 2 hours. But while sitting there for 2 hours, all you are doing is meditating on when I will play. So for all those 2 hours, you did not study anything actually, effectively. Right? So that is a wrong scenario. We don't want to do that. We should be focusing on what we are really doing. So, there is one story. So before I go to that story, let's see if somebody has any question so far. Swastika, you have a question?
No.
Okay. Kiana?
Can I say the shlok karmanya vadikar?
You want to recite that shloka karmanya vadikaraste?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Karmanya vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalehe turbur mate sanghostava karmani.
Okay, very good. You recited very nicely.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody has any questions so far what we discussed? Ovi?
Prabhuji, actually don't have any questions.
Okay, you don't have any question. Somebody has any question? Or otherwise, let me tell you a story, right, on this hypocrisy which we were discussing. So once there was a Brahmana and he used to engage in worship of the deities, right? In the temple, there is a nice deity of Krishna and he is worshipping the deity. He is offering arati, he is offering bhoga. And next to that temple, there was in one house, there was one woman living who was kind of a professional dancer. Okay, whose occupation is to dance and entertain people. So people will come watch her dance and give her money. So that is her occupation, how she is maintaining herself. And this person, this Brahmana, while he is sitting in the temple here, he is always thinking about this woman. He is always absorbed in thinking about this woman, that, oh, this woman, she is dancing. Now see the here he is offering arati, he is ringing his bell, and on that side some music started, and she is maybe there are some customers and she is entertaining them with her dance. And this person, while doing arati, he is actually more absorbed in thinking about her. He is thinking, oh, she is such a bad woman, she is dancing in front of other people and other men, and he is thinking of enjoying with that woman while doing his duty of serving the Lord in the temple. On the other side, that woman, actually, she is forced to act in that occupation, engage in that occupation of dancing in front of others, because she has to maintain herself and her livelihood. But while she is dancing in front of other people, he is always thinking of Krishna. She is remembering God, that somehow I have come into this situation and you can bring me out of that situation. So she's, while dancing for other people, she's actually remembering Krishna. And this Brahmana, while serving Krishna, he's actually thinking of that woman, how that woman is enjoying dancing and enjoying with other men. And I wish I could enjoy with her this, that. So one day, this woman, she died and she went to Yamaraj. And this Brahmana also died and he also went to Yamaraj, right? Yamaraj, who is Yamaraj? He is the representative of Lord. He is the god of death who gives the judgment based on somebody's karma. That if they did good karma or bad karma, based on that, he will award them happiness or suffering. He will send them to Swarga or to hell. So this woman, she was, so let's say there is a big line, all people who died, they are standing there, and Yamaraj is going to give his judgment, what will happen to everybody. So this woman was brought in front of this Yamaraj, and looking at his account, he said she deserves to go to Swarga to enjoy, or she deserves to go to Swarga because she was always, even though while dancing, she was thinking of Krishna. And this person, this Brahmana, his turn came. He was brought in front of Yamaraj. And Yamaraj, looking at his bank balance or his account balance of karma, he said, send this Brahmana to hell. He deserved to suffer. And this Brahmana immediately, oh, hold on, wait. How come? That she was a dancing girl. She was dancing in front of all these men, other people, and you are sending her to Swarga, that she has done many pious activities. And I am a Brahmana. I was serving in temple. And you are telling me that I should go suffer in hell. How? What kind of justice is this? So Yamaraj said, even though she was a dancer girl, right? A kind of a bad dancer or whatever. But she was doing it out of obligation, but her mind, her consciousness internally was absorbed in the Lord. And on the other side, you externally, you are supposed to be serving God, but your consciousness internally, your thoughts are enjoying with this woman. You are thinking of bad about her. So even though externally you are in the dress of a devotee, in the dress of a brahmana, or internally your consciousness was very bad. So you need to suffer in hell. So that is the situation. Even though externally it is not just becoming externally a devotee or externally becoming a renounced person. Our consciousness internally matters. So it applies to everybody in different stages of life. For student, for parents, for person who is renounced now, who has retired now, right? For student, when you study, your consciousness should be absorbed in study, not thinking about how I will enjoy later, and not just waste all that time doing daydreaming, right? Thinking about all this enjoyment. And for other people, grown up people, it also for them how to do their occupation, how to do their duty, not when I will go on a vacation, when I will enjoy, when I will eat nice food, when I will sleep, not always keep thinking about that. And when somebody is becoming a devotee, right, is working, acting like a devotee, one should internally also bring that change, not just putting the dress of a devotee. So our consciousness matters more. While executing our duties, we can have a better consciousness, which is always absorbed in Krishna, always absorbed in remembering Krishna. So how do we remember Krishna? By chanting the names of Krishna, by hearing the stories about Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Right? So that way we can remember Krishna even while doing our activities, our duties. So there was another story or another example. Should I tell that? Do you want to hear? So once one person, he was passing by from the office, outside the office of a eye doctor. See, eye doctor, what he does is when somebody goes to do the eye examination, to test their eyes, what will the eye doctor do? They will try different lenses in front of the eye to check their eyesight, right? If negative zero point 0.5 or negative 0.1 or 0.2 or 0.3, so what is the glasses needed to cure your eyesight? So he is changing different glasses until the person starts to read clearly, right? To start to see clearly. So doctor is putting some lens in front of his eye and then will tell, okay, now read on that chart. Are you able to read that thing? So a person with the first lens, the person say, no, I cannot still read. Then he change the lens, take out that lens and put another lens. Okay, now try. Can you read now? The person says, oh, still I cannot read. Then he puts even more higher powerful lens, better lens. And then he says, now try to read. Now this person said, yeah, now I can read. See, there's A, B, C, D written there. So I can read it clearly now. So a person who is passing by, so one person was passing by one time and he saw this thing happening. And he thought, oh, this is wonderful. This is magical. Doctor is just putting some glasses in front of him, his eyes, and he starts to read. So let me also try. So next day, this person also went to the doctor. Doctor, I cannot read. Can you do something for me? So doctor said, yes, let me check your eyesight. So doctor started checking and he put one lens in front of his eyes, say, read. No, doctor, I cannot read still. Okay, he changed that. He took out that lens and put another lens. Now read. No, doctor, I still cannot read. So he took out that lens, also put another lens. Now read. No, I still cannot read. So doctor kept going on and on for 100 different permutation combination he tried in front of both eyes. And still this person is saying, no, I cannot read. So doctor tried everything. And then doctor finally realized, he asked that person, do you really know how to read? Do you actually know how to read? So it's not about just putting a eyesight glasses in front of your eyes and that will make you read. You need to know also how to read. No matter how many glasses you change, you still cannot read if you don't know how to read. So that was the situation of that person. He was actually a illiterate person. He did not know how to read. So how this story relate to this point of external change and internal change? See, whatever we have internally, that's how we will see externally. What kind of consciousness we have internally, that consciousness will affect how we see externally everything, how we see, how we perceive other things, other people. So internally, if somebody know how to read, then by putting the glasses, if somebody's eyesight is weak, then externally they can know how to read. But if internally they don't know any knowledge, they don't have any knowledge how to read, externally, no matter how many glasses you change, you still cannot read. So same way, externally, somebody may become a renounced person. Somebody may take on the garb of a devotee. But internally, if they don't have that consciousness, it's not going to help. Then they will be just cheating others. So whatever is inside us, that's how we perceive other people. Atmavan manyate jagat. We see everybody else like us. Because we have those kind of tendencies inside us, that's how we see others. We think, oh, that person is also a cheater, because maybe that cheating tendency is inside us. We think that other person is also just, while studying, he is wasting all his time, maybe because we are like that. So sometimes we just look at others, we see others based on how we are. So that's why there is one very famous statement by a great saint, Kabir ji. There was one great saint named Kabir Das. He said, "Bura jo dekhan main chala bura." Actually, this statement is by not Kabir ji. I don't know if it's by Guru Nanak Dev or Kabir ji. So one of them. So their statement was, "Bura jo dekhan main chala, bura na milya koi. Jo dil khoja apna, mujhse bura na koi." So what does that mean? I went to see bad outside, but I could not find anybody bad. बुरा जो देखन मैं चला बुरा ना मिले कोई जो दिल खोजा आपना. When I looked into my own heart, मुझसे बुरा ना कोई. There was nobody bad than me, because that bad content is inside our heart. That's how we see others also. We see outside like that. So we should try to change our consciousness. We should change our viewpoint, how we perceive things. And how we can do that? By understanding more and more the message of scriptures, the teachings of scriptures, teachings of Bhagavad Gita. By chanting the holy name, we can purify our consciousness. So that's why reading Bhagavad Gita and chanting the names of Krishna is very important. And all the children should do that on daily basis. Every day, you should take out some time and read a little bit Bhagavad Gita, one verse, even one verse every day. And 5-10 minutes, you should chant the names of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, so now let's see if somebody has any questions. Swastika.
I just wanted to say that like I usually make a chart and I keep that chart on my desk.
Okay.
And then so like I drew little boxes for it like every week. And then so like I on the back of the chart I used to write everything I needed to do on that chart. Like first I had to keep Krishna on my desk, and then maybe
swing him on the swing, or maybe do 1 round of chanting, or read the Bhagavad Gita. So like whenever I did all those things in one day, then I would check it off for that day, and then I would move on and on.
Yeah, that is very nice. So to maintain a chart or a tracking sheet that I want to do these activities on a regular basis, on a daily basis. So very good.
Yeah, just to keep track.
Yes. Okay. Anybody else has any questions, comments? Okay. If no other questions or comments, then we'll stop it here today. Our Bhagavad Gita class for today. Thank you very much. Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for wonderful class. So many new lessons we learned from Bhagavad Gita today. So let's thank Prabhuji for by saying Hari Bol. Please unmute yourself.
Hari Bol,
Hare
Hare
Bol,
Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna, everyone.
Hare Bol, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Bol.